Heidi and Frank Show. We also webcast this show, which means we video the show, and you can watch it live every single day, and you can go back and watch it at HeidiandFrank.com if you are a premium member. So it's things like that. Last break, if this was strictly a radio show with audio only, been no point to that.
No.
But you can see what I look like taping my face anytime you want by becoming a premium member at HeidiandFrank.com. Also get the podcast there as well, and a bunch of other stuff, deals and discounts, the Amazon store, Gamefly stuff, all these special offers. So definitely check it out, HeidiandFrank.com. There's the doorbell. Who could it be? Is it Myles L. Berman?
There he is.
Top Gun DUI defense attorney. No, it's so funny. Right before you walked in, Myles, I was like, you know what? Every time I can't have Myles on the show and not drink a beer.
Sure.
So I got some beers in here, so we're going to drink while we talk to the Top Gun DUI defense attorney. Here, Heidi, you need to open yours?
All right.
There you go.
Sure, why not?
Myles has been a friend of the show for a very, very long time. A big supporter of the Heidi and Frank show, and he does the Lord's work. He is the Top Gun DUI defense attorney. Now, you've been doing this for how long now? The whole the DUI defense attorney part.
Oh, since early 90s.
Did you start out doing that when you first became an attorney?
No. I started practicing in Chicago and then moved to L.A. in '88, and shortly right after that, just started doing DUI defense.
And he knows everything about it.
Well, we've been doing it a long time.
What's the thing that's happening? I saw it on the news this morning, but it was so early and I was rushing out the door, that they're doing this holiday season about the taxis. It's like a half a taxi, half a cop car or something that they're doing at checkpoints. Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't heard it.
Like warning about the dangers of drunk driving or something, and it's like, oh, it's a $10,000 taxi ride or something like that, saying that if you drink and drive, you're going to be.
Oh, it's just a deterrent ad saying it's a $10,000
But they're
taxi.
out. They're like these cars that are painted half like a taxi and half like a cop car.
Well, I'm sure that as people are driving through the checkpoint and they see the taxi, they go, you know
How
what?
drunk am I? Is that half a cop car and half a taxi cab?
Or the commercial where you see the guy, and the girl walk into their car and they're like, hey, and then there's the chameleon cop against the wall. He's got bricks across him, like he you won't see us, but we'll see you.
Well, I see it a little differently. I see people driving through the checkpoint and see the taxi cab go, you know what, I'll take that car.
Yeah, exactly. They're getting in the back of it.
Yeah, I'll take that one. I'll get in that
They're
one.
hailing that.
Right?
So the checkpoint, is there, on your website, you alert people to where these checkpoints are going to be, right?
You're talking about TopGunDUI.com?
Yes, TopGunDUI.com.
Yes. What we do is we post known checkpoints at the end of the week for the upcoming weekend. So I'm going to be expecting a lot of checkpoints between now and the end of the year, which isn't that much time left. But, nobody wants drunk drivers on the road. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. But at this time of year, there's going to be a lot of enforcement for people who are drinking and driving. So, people are a lot more at risk being arrested for DUI.
Is a planned checkpoint public record, or do you have like a mole inside?
Myles Mole.
I mean,
actually, we're well known to almost every police agency in Southern California and beyond. So they know us. We actually represent police officers, too, from time to time. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, anybody can get arrested for DUI.
Of course.
But police agencies notify us of checkpoints. One of the requirements is that they publish checkpoints. So we get a lot of notifications from police agencies where they're having their checkpoints. Plus, we do have other sources to find out where our checkpoints are going to be.
Now, are you better off I had a friend who was coming home and I think this is, when you think about it, we've all been guilty of not drunk driving, but drinking and driving, going to have dinner and having 2 glasses of wine, right? And you're like, okay, my God, we had a 2.5-hour dinner. I had 2 glasses of wine. I had dessert. I had a cappuccino. I mean, I'm fine to drive. I'm totally fine. And then, sure enough, you get pulled over, and maybe it's still in your system, and legally, you're drunk. Are you better off if you go through the checkpoint? Because I had a friend who came home from a Christmas party, goes through the checkpoint. The cop says, have you been drinking? She said, yeah, I'm coming from my company Christmas party. I had 2 glasses of wine, over a 4-hour period. She admitted that she had wine. Is that the smarter way to go, or just say nothing? Or what's as a driver, what should I do and not do?
Well, I can tell you what the law requires, and basically, it doesn't require you to indicate where you're coming from, where you're going to, how much you had to drink.
So she didn't have to say any of that.
No,
Okay.
she didn't have to. But people are very intimidated.
Right.
Look, nobody wants to get arrested for DUI. Nobody wants to go to jail.
We were talking earlier about how intimidating it is, and with these two girls in Texas who got full body cavity search just for littering.
Yeah, is a full body cavity search ever part of the field sobriety test?
How drunk am I that I let you do that?
Generally, no.
Okay, so
there's
remember that
there must
this
be
holiday season.
Yeah, I mean there must be some other reason why,
Yeah.
which led to that. But
You don't have to give any information, ma'am. Where are you headed from tonight? That's none of your business, officer? I
well,
can't imagine saying that.
you always have to be polite. I mean, you
Sure.
have to identify yourself. You have to give me driver's license, registration, proof of insurance if they ask for it. But the requirements of going into all the other details and basically confessing to a potential crime,
Don't have to do any of that.
Yeah, people don't have to do that.
Don't build the case on yourself. I know
Right.
I mean, what it sounds like we're saying. It's like we're trying to allow drunk drivers to get home, and that's not what we're saying. It's like, obviously, it could be you had some eggnog that was spiked with some spiced rum, and you didn't think it was going to be in your system. You get out and you do all this field sobriety stuff, and you blow a .09, which is or .08. .08 is the legal limit.
Yeah.
So if you blow that exactly, then you're going to be convicted, or not convicted. You're going to be arrested for DUI, right?
It's .07 or under that you're fine.
Well, not necessarily.
Yeah, Frank is right. The first, the problem is nobody knows what their alcohol level is based on how many drinks they have. You just don't know. I mean, after you guys finish those beers,
Well, thank you for reminding me.
Frank, you may be an 02 or a little bit less if you drink that whole thing in 15, 20 minutes. Heidi, with you being so dainty and slender.
Right.
Yeah. Are you drunk right now?
You may be. No, I'm just drinking water.
Dainty.
Yeah.
If I start to look good, you're hammered. You don't need to field sobriety test for that. It's like, that chick is hot, buddy. You can't drive.
Yeah, let's have Heidi at a checkpoint. If people give a double take, it's like, or stop.
It may lead to body cavity search.
That's right.
Anybody
right?
who wolf whistles goes to jail.
So clearly you were inebriated.
But you would be a little bit more.
Right.
But, and just so people know, one 12-ounce can or bottle of beer is the same as one glass of wine or one shot of 80-proof liquor. So the amount of alcohol in each drink is about
That
the
is
same.
so weird because I feel like, and I don't know, Frank, because you obviously drink whiskey and beer, but don't you feel like
At the same time?
Usually a shot and a
More
beer.
than
That's how he
just
starts his
drop
night.
it in and chug it.
Don't you feel like a shot of whiskey is way more than one beer?
Well,
Don't you feel that way? How can it be even?
Just from the taste, where you're like, it's got that bite
Right.
to it, so you feel like it's going to be stronger. But it's like you're talking 12 ounces of beer against an ounce and a quarter of hard
whiskey,
liquor,
yeah.
and then there has to be a time frame after you've taken that shot. And if I take a shot right now of tequila and I instantly blew into a breathalyzer, it'd probably say I should be in a coma. But I just
Right.
took. I mean, it's right there on my tongue,
there's a
right?
time-
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we're able to win a lot of DUI cases, because breath testing, you just indicated that it would give a false high reading, is what we call it. And there is a lot of problems with the state's breath test machines that both the defense and the state knows, but we were able to bring it out of trial. Most people aren't even aware of it.
Yeah.
They don't know. And I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say somebody gets arrested and they take a breath test and it's a .16, .18. That sounds really bad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Double.
twice the limit and more than twice the limit. But logically, it doesn't make sense because a person doesn't go from a .16. I feel like I'm being interviewed by two police officers. Which one's the good guy? Which one's the bad guy?
You'll have to figure it out.
I'm sorry. So, ma'am, may I talk to you?
Yeah.
I want to talk to this guy.
Yeah, he's a bad cop.
But anyway,
Dirty cop.
breath tests are usually administered within minutes apart. So a person doesn't go from a 0.16 to a 0.18, 2 to 5 minutes apart. So there's some reason for that. Without getting into too much detail,
Right.
but just on those results themselves.
Don't they do urine and blood tests too?
Urine,
Not in the field, but they do urine and blood.
yeah, no, urine is not a test that's offered after you're arrested. Technically, they have to offer you the urine after you take a breath test. If you want another test, they should offer you a urine, breath, or urine or a blood test after you take a breath test. But because we've been winning so many DUI cases with urine, this is going back. This could be 8 years already. That urine test isn't available. But just think about the people. How many people got convicted for DUI because they had a urine test, but the urine test was actually way high. But breath testing is here to stay, and it also actually leads to another issue where your urine test can be possibly requested on a drug screening. So, and in this day and age, people who are driving under the influence, not necessarily of alcohol, but we've seen a spike of DUI marijuana cases, a spike in DUI. Everybody's medicated
That guy
these
was
days.
driving. That guy was driving so
Yeah.
slow. Come on, buddy. What's going on here?
We're seeing a lot of, and especially elderly people who are getting arrested. Well, I'm even older than me.
Really? I mean,
I'm getting, but yeah,
For
people.
medical marijuana?
Not just medical marijuana, younger people arrested for medical marijuana, older people arrested for legal prescription drugs in their system, and they end up with something other than a breath
I know
test.
this. I mean, unlike alcohol. I mean, alcohol's in your system, and then you metabolize it, and eventually it leaves within a short period of time.
Sure.
Right.
But marijuana will stay in your system for 30 days, or maybe some of these prescription drugs that you have to be on will maintain a certain level in your bloodstream so it can, stay active. So how can you ever say that, I might have smoked weed, 2 weeks ago, but it's still in my system, and they take the blood test and act like I was stoned when I was driving that day?
Right, yeah. Usually testing comes back, it's screening for the presence of marijuana in the blood.
But how can they add that on? And talk about reasonable doubt. You can't prove that I was high that day.
Well, that's the issue. I mean, you've got it. You've got it right. Not that I'm encouraging people
Unless you
to
know me
smoke dope.
personally.
Right. Well, you're like, yeah, it's in a system.
Yeah, but you're right. It does stay in the system, and
When you have a
it
water
could be-
bong shifter, maybe you're giving yourself away. I don't know.
Surprisingly, what really triggers evidence of recent smoking of marijuana is somebody gets stopped and the cops smell pot in the car,
Yeah.
which always amazes me why people are smoking dope in the car and then just start driving. But
Because we've all been there. You've all been at that light where you're like, I can smell it. Somebody's
smoking weed
Yeah.
at a stoplight.
Oh, yeah. Last weekend, we were like, where's that coming from? And sure enough, there were a couple cars up ahead. And he's just like sitting in the car. No problem. Like it's a cigarette. And I pulled right up next to him. It's that guy right there. Like, I guess even if you have your medical marijuana card or license, you can't do it in the car.
All right, we're gonna take a break. We're here with Myles L. Berman, the Top Gun DUI defense attorney. If you want to call him, actually write this number down and put it in your wallet when you're going out to your holiday parties.
Just in case.
888-4-TOP-GUN. That's 888-4-TOP-GUN. Myles L. Berman. Going to be taking your questions if you have any. I'm sure you do. It's not an exact science, this whole DUI deal. So you need to learn the basics of what you need to know before you go out there. 1-800-955-5567. Right back with Myles L. Berman. We are Heidi and Frank.
That was just a little sample of the Heidi and Frank Show on 95.5 KLOS. To get more samples like this and hear all the fun we have, you can do that at 955KLOS.com. Now, to get the show in its entirety on demand, and if you want to watch the show, we webcast it every day, all you have to do is go to HeidiandFrank.com and become a premium package member. Do it right now.